Yeah, great atmosphere for college football. I'll tell you what, it was a lot of fun having that kind of atmosphere. I think our kids really enjoyed it. I thought our fans showed up and did a great job, made it feel like it was like 50-50 with our fans out there. A lot of credit to Georgia Tech. They did a really good job, played hard, played physical. I thought Buster and his staff did a great job with the run plan. We expected to get a lot of quarterback run. They did a good job of that. But once again, our kids show up very resilient, tough. I mean, this game is not measured by stats and rushing yards and first downs. It's measured by heart. And you got to have a whole lot of heart to go out there and fight and play like our guys have done week after week after week. I mean, you see across the country in these rivalry games what happens. And I know better than anybody that it can go either way in these type games. Very emotional, very different week in terms of Thanksgiving and everything going on. But I thought our offense played with a lot of consistency. We were able to run the ball really well and really physical up front. And the line of scrimmage won the game for us.
What can you say just about Kendall Miltons' performance? A career high night for him, under 56 rushing yards, 2 TDs. He seems like he's kind of starting to peak right at the right time.
Really physical. He's getting his pads down, running through contact. Breaks a lot of arm tackles. You know, I saw two or three of their guys have to go out from having to tackle him because he's really physical and downhill. But make no mistake about it, it's not just him. It's a lot of them dudes up there in front of him. It's quarterback run checking. It's front O-line moving people, tight ends, receivers blocking downfield. It's a team effort, and he was a big part of that tonight. I mean, even Dejon had some good runs, but I thought Kendall was really physical.
29 career straight wins for you guys, a new SEC record. Just what does that mean to you, and what does it say about your program?
Says we got a tough one next week. I mean, it's humility's a week away. That's what we say around our place, and it's a great honor. I mean, it's something we'll look back on, and it's not one person. You know, if I'm thinking right, that's three different teams, right? And there's a lot of kids that aren't in that locker room that were a part of that, but you know that's not the focal point for us. Focal point for us is to get better, you know, and we got to continue to get better. Our kids have a lot of pride and they want to get better. You know, offense felt like they left points out there. Defense feels like they didn't play the quarterback run game as well as they should. So the good thing about that locker room is a lot of guys know there's work to be done.
Kirby, were Brock, Ladd, or Tate, were they close to being available tonight?
Define close. I mean,
If it was a championship game, could you play them?
if they could play, they'd played.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. If they could have played, they'd played. I don't think you measured on that. It was a championship game. It was a state championship game. And they wanted to play. All of them wanted to play. Look, guys, we're beat up. We got two freshman linebackers out there playing, I don't know, 50% of the snaps. Smiles out there fighting his tail off. He's hurt and beat up, and we got everybody does. We're not going to whine and cry about it. We got to get the next man up and got to continue to make plays with the other guys.
Was Brock just a soreness with that ankle coming out of last week?
Yeah, he was more sore this week than he's been. I mean, he was not able to do much during the week, and he tried to go. He wanted to go, but it just, I mean, he's sore. He's got to be honest with us and tell us.
How about Dylan for y'all tonight? I mean, how well has Dylan developed for y'all, and how important has he been these last two games?
Really important. I mean, he's a good football player. He's a jack of all trades. He's a great kid, hard worker, makes plays with the ball. I think the offensive staff deserves a lot of credit for finding different people. I mean, when you talk about five starters being out on offense from like different spots, and then still to go out there and do what they do, they just find the next man, who's the next man to touch the ball, and they've done a good job of that.
Kirby, do you think your team's done enough to earn a playoff spot now, or do you think it's going to come down to next week?
I really wouldn't even want to answer that, Jeff. I mean, I'm so worried about what we're doing and getting better that I'm gonna leave that for you guys. You know, like what. I'm not worried about lobbying for anything. I'm worried about playing for an SEC championship, which is really hard to get. And there's one of the greatest venues in all sports is the SEC championship. I've been very fortunate to coach in it a lot of times from DC position and head coach position, and it's probably the best atmosphere that I've ever been around. So we'll be concerned ourselves with that.
Coach, you said that defense didn't play exactly where they wanted to, but overall, since the beginning of the season to now, how would you rate your defense overall performance?
It's hard to rate it. Game by game, probably easier. I'm really proud of the connection they have and how hard they work. I don't even look at the stats. I mean, I literally don't know what the stats say. I just know that there's some times we could play better, and there's some times we've had to play with guys that might not quite be ready yet, but they've had to step up and answer the bell. I love coaching them every day. I love being around them. I love our defensive staff. I love all that, but we got to get better.
What does it say just about the depth and the talent that you have on this team? We have no Brock, you have no Latch, you have no Rah-Rah, yet you still have multiple guys making big plays for you in big moments.
Well, it says that our offensive staff can find ways to get them the ball, and we got to keep finding the next man up. You know, I mean, it is what it is. It happens to everybody. So I'm proud of the depth we have, but I don't think anybody's got enough depth because, I mean, we're thin at some spots. We had to, we had to practice different ways the last couple of weeks just because of how thin we are.
Were you disappointed with the, obviously you were disappointed there was an interception, but a pass call in that situation at the end where you could have maybe put the game away?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're trying to score a touchdown. I mean, we're not going to play for a field goal, so we called a play to score a touchdown. Unfortunately, I think they dropped 8, and ball either got tipped or ricocheted, I'm not real sure, off of maybe our guy or their guy. And unfortunate when that happens in the game, and try to avoid that. You'd like to have a situation there that you get the points, get the field goal, but if we can score a touchdown, we need to score a touchdown.
Did you understand their explanation on lineman downfield on that?
Yeah, he said he was past the threshold for how far he should be. It's just I've never had it called for me. Now I've had it called against me. So I've been dealing with that thing for a lot of years.
Did it feel any more special winning the state championship against a former coach that also played in this game with you as well, just for you as an alumni of this game?
It's not about me and him, or at least it's not for me. It's about these kids. I want those kids to walk out of that room with a 0 in their loss column, and that's what I want. And there's a group of seniors in there that just got a chance to do that, and that's what it's about, is dominating your rivalries. We say SEC East, crossover opponent, and in-state rivalry. You got to win those to have good years, and those kids have done that for 3 years now.
Did you make Oscar Dawg's performance tonight, especially his downfield blocking?
Don't know. I didn't really get to watch it. Oscar's a tough dude. Love the way he works and practices.
Zion Lowe's tip on the fourth down play, just how big a play that
Huge play in the game. Huge play in the game because momentum's going to swing the other way with a PI call, and that tip ball's big. And Coach Scott stresses that and works on it all the time. We always kid Z-Lo. He's finally starting to get some of those tips in his latter years. It's a big play for him.
Kirby, how much of a challenge was it just facing quarterback Haynes King, and especially the way he can extend plays with his legs?
Yeah, number one, he's an incredible athlete. I don't know that how much he extends plays with his legs as much as how good he runs the ball. Their run scheme is really good. They're running a form of triple option from the gun, and he has multiple options on each play. He made good decisions, and we look like we misfit some things, but I don't know that. I got to go back and watch it. They might have just whipped us, but it'll be interesting to watch it and see.
Just to follow up on that a little bit, Javon said something like we can't get to where we want to go by giving up 200 rushing yards a game. Just where would you say the run defense is at this point in the season?
Depends on what kind of run it is. Like we go back to our conversations we've had before. There's different kinds of runs. There's quarterback runs and gap runs, which are really hard to defend if you have a good quarterback and you can run the ball with it. I've seen it all over the country. So we're pretty good at stopping a lot of runs. We've struggled with stopping some of those runs, and we got to do a better job.
Coach, we're older too. You've been here before the last few years. Win the last game of the season. What does this week look like for you to get ready for the SEC championship?
Like it does every week. We're going to start tomorrow and prepare, and you don't change what you do because of who you play. I mean, we have a really good routine we feel comfortable with, and it'll be a game week.
Did you get to see how the Alabama-Auburn game ended, or did you
No, we were in the locker room. Somebody came up and told me when we went on the field for warm-ups, or somebody said that Auburn had won, and it was 4th and whatever. And I didn't think about it again until we were coming in, and somebody said they converted that, ended up winning it. So I never saw it, just heard about it.
Coach, you guys had a couple of big special teams plays tonight. What kind of impact did that have on the team?
It was a huge field position. I mean, I think the special teams outside of our rushing offense and our offensive line, that was the biggest win in the game, that third element. I mean, to be able to go out there and dominate the kickoff returns. And, nobody gives a kid credit, but Zirkle didn't give them a chance to return one. So, I mean, as much as we got to return it, they didn't. And that was, I mean, it's probably the difference in the game, that and recovering the onside kick.
Coach, I'm sure you haven't had a chance to study him yet, but how similar are the threat that Jalen Milroe might provide with his legs as what you just saw in his game?
And like you said, I hadn't seen them. I don't know that. You know, I know they're physical, they're big, they got a really good quarterback, got good wideouts, they got a good team.
Time for two more?
I think you have more penalties than you usually have this season. You've been pretty consistently with that. Your thoughts were a couple of them uncharacteristic in terms of
I don't know. You know, I don't judge. I don't ever talk about officiating, but I mean, it's one of those that we go to a different conference. They have different standards. I mean, we evaluate every crew that we get. Their crew had more penalties than any SEC crew going into the game. So we just thought it was going to be a more penalized game. They are, I guess they call it closer. You know, they had more holdings, more personal fouls. They just have more fouls in their games than we average in the SEC. So it just so happened that a lot of them seemed like they went against us in opportune times, but. I don't question the officiating. I think those guys do a great job.
Marvin Jones and Christian Miller both get sacks tonight. How big is that for them, especially as young players, as they continue to develop?
Yeah, they work hard, man. Those guys work hard, and they get their snaps. They go out there and compete each day. Marvin's getting better and better with every game, and Christian's getting better. He's been going down the scout team and growing as a player as well.
Thank you.